Hi everyone, welcome to Lauren's Scraplot. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you guys are all staying safe and happy at your various places of employment, or just if you're at home, that's great too. So just a little heads up, this month I decided to host the rest of my classes as online classes. So the project that I have for you today and a couple more coming up over the next few days are ones that I had planned for my Fun Fold class for my wonderful attendees and customers. So I ended up prepping these kits and mailing them out to them instead so that they could hopefully follow along with this video. But we as a group decided that we just wanted to bless the rest of you and hopefully help you out with any loneliness that you're feeling, and just invite you to join us along with these projects. So this is project number 1, and make sure to check back over the next few days because I'll have 2 more projects to show you as well, all centered around our Tropical Oasis suite. So at the class, everyone ordered this timeless tropical stamp set, and I intended to show them a few ways of using it. We also are going to tie it in with the In the Tropics dies, as well as the beautiful, sorry I'm flipping pages, Tropical Oasis Designer Series paper. Now there's a bunch of other fun features of this suite, including the Coastal Weave folder, there's some trinkets, you can play with another of our Stays-On colors, it's a nice brown, and then we have Memories and More if you are a scrapbooker. These are pre-made little cards, and the burlap ribbon is also a nice tie-in too. So make sure you guys check this out if you haven't gotten your hands on it. What I love about Stampin' Up! Is you can order online, so I do have an online site and a hostess code if you're interested. Hi to Debbie and Bilkis, you're already watching. If you guys are interested, these items can get shipped right to your door. So if you're stuck at home, you can be crafting away. I also do orders pretty much every week or two, so you can always shoot me a note and we can share some shipping costs, and you can just pick them up from my bin outside if you're in Edmonton here. But just a little heads up and maybe something to be just thinking in your hearts about. The Salt Lake City office is actually closed down today because they had a massive earthquake and some aftershocks as well this morning. So maybe just be thinking of them, and if you're somebody who's been trying to get through to them or anything, then just keep that in mind. That's why they're not answering your calls. They sent all the employees home today, and hopefully they'll be back up and running. They haven't seen any damage to their buildings. But on a nice note, let's get working on this Fun Fold card. Okay, so this card here, it's actually a window card. Ooh, dropping things. So I made a cute little belly band that goes around the card, and it just keeps it closed. But this part here, I'm going to show you how to make a window out of any of your dies. Okay, so what you're going to need to start with is a piece of Crumb Cake Designer Series paper. So I have cut this at 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and then you're going to end up putting a score line at 2 1/8 as well as 6 3/8. Okay, so this is your DSP that we're going to start with. And for our front panels here, we're going to need cardstock we're starting with. We're going to need some DSP as well. So those 2 DSP pieces, I'm covering up the cute little trucks, but we're just going to use that plain brown. So you need them cut at 2 inches by 5 3/8 along the long side. And that's just going to fit perfectly on these panels. So I'm going to go ahead with my snail and just glue that on so that they're ready to go. And just keep in mind with your snail, you don't need a ton, just nicely in the corners will do. So we've got 1 on each of our panels, and you're barely going to see the crumb cake cardstock around it. It's going to end up being mostly the DSP that you see, but the cardstock is a great base, and it helps us in the future of our project. Okay, so we've got our panels on. Now you do need the In the Tropics dies for this one and a Big Shot. So I've got my trusty old school Big Shot here, and you won't be able to see everything I'm doing, but I'll try to show you here. Okay, so on your base, you're going to start by figuring out where you'd like your pineapple to sit. That's probably going to be right in the middle. And then with some washi tape, I just took scrap washi tape that was a couple catalogs old. We are going to tape down the pieces only on one side, okay? So it doesn't matter which side you start with, but we're going to tape down our dies so they're ready and waiting for us to do this next part here. Okay, now the key is to open your card up. If you were to run everything through now, A, it would be very hard because you've also got this back piece, but B, you would end up cutting through the entire card. We only want to cut through these flaps. So the reason that we only attached half of them is we're going to open this card up completely and run this through exactly like so. So you are going through both your cardstock and your DSP, so you may need to kind of run back and forth a couple times, but if I can find I had a plate, there we go. It's a brand new one, can't see it. All right, you're gonna put your second plate over top here, and then you're gonna run this through a few times. Oh, mine fell off, here we go. Sorry, retry. There you are. That's why we tape things, so they don't move. Okay, here we go. That feels better. So roll that back and forth just a few times because you want to make sure it gets through. And then before you take anything apart, turn it over and see if you can pull this piece off, okay? So you can take that out of here. I've always found it was a little trickier in my leaf area just because you have such detailed little spots on a couple points. So you may just need to kind of work at it for a second here, and if need be, you can either roll it through again or take a pair of scissors and just snip this little part that's holding on. There we go, that little leaf. So you've cut these out now, and we're going to go ahead and gently take off our dies from the front here. The washi tape is perfect because it really shouldn't pull any of your paper off on you, but when it's brand new, you do have to be careful. Okay, so there's one of our dies, there's two of our dies. Sorry. Once it becomes a little less sticky, you'll be able to roll it through a few more times a little easier. Okay, so we had that part lined up perfectly. So in order to do the other side, you're going to need to take these washi tape pieces, and we're going to use them on the opposite side, okay? So starting with your bottom, line up your die again so it just fits perfectly in that little nook you already cut, and go ahead and add your washi tape to the side here. And then same with the front, line up all the leaves and make sure it's in place before putting this washi tape on, okay? All right, now we're gonna repeat that process by opening up this gate and running this piece through. I'll show you what I'm doing. There we go. So again, just flip it over, make sure you can gently take those pieces out before you bother taking the dies off, because if you take them off, it's a little trickier to get them back into the right spots. It's still possible, but it's a little easier this way. And you've got that cut out, so we're going to go ahead and take these pieces off, and I'm going to move my Big Shot out of the way because we're done with it. Okay, so taking my dies off. There we go. Oh, I did make a little mess. Oops, be more careful than I am with your tape. So that's okay. All I'm going to do is I can fix that later just with a little bit of replacement in that part, and I can probably even cover it up with something. So I'll fix that part later. But your next task is to add the background to this card. So I have started with a piece of soft suede cardstock, and I ended up cutting that at 4 inches by 5.5. And then what you're going to do is take those tropical dies again and cut yourself out the pineapple pieces. So the base I took from the crushed curry cardstock, and the top, if you're noticing the different texture, it's actually one of our designer series papers from the Celebration promotion. So we had this amazing lily paper that has gorgeous lily watercolors on the one side, and then on the opposite side it has beautiful kind of watercolor washes with different colors. So green was one of those sheets, and I ended up taking this and just running it through with the metal top die, and I thought it made an absolutely perfect top of the pineapple. So we've got these two with the piece that you have cut out now. Go ahead and attach your brown soft suede to the inside. And to line up these pieces here, I just put a couple stripes of tape. You're going to close up your card and then gently just set this into that space in the middle, okay? So you'll end up having to kind of play a little bit with the different parts of the leaf, but once it's kind of generally in place, move this out of the way and flatten this piece all the way. You won't need to worry anymore. You just want to make sure that it's hiding completely underneath that empty space. And then you're going to do the same for the pineapple. It is a little trickier to attach simply because if you put snail, if you're like me, you'll end up seeing through a little. So I just used Tombow and I just put a few dots kind of all over so that I make sure to attach the perimeter of my pineapple, but it doesn't need to be perfect. So just a few dots, same thing, close that up and attach that right to the front here. Once it's in, you can open the doors out of the way and then smush it all the way in place. Okay? And then you're ready to start decorating the rest of the card. So on the back of my card here, I just put a little note because you can't really write much on this one. So you're going to turn over your card, grab another piece of soft suede. Oh, sorry, my door is being knocked upon. Hi, Darius. Come here. You can help with my video. I had the kids down for quiet time, but they've obviously escaped. Okay, so we'll see if we can finish this. This piece of soft suede is 4 inches by 5.25 as well. So just grab your snail and attach that. Yeah, and then we're going to also add this piece of Very Vanilla so that you can add just a stamped pineapple image in the bottom with the soft suede ink. So my Very Vanilla is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and that gets attached as well. All right. Yeah, you can sit down, buddy. Here you go. Okay. Okay. Now for the front of our card, we've pretty much, yeah, that's okay, sweetie. we've finished the card itself, but we need to do a little bit of work to make a belly band. So that's this guy here. So to complete this one, you're going to cut a strip of the crumb cake DSP. So this is cut at 1 inch thick by 11 inches long. Put a score mark at 3 inches and 7 3/8, and then you'll notice it can easily be folded on top of itself. Thanks. Then to attach it, you're just going to close it up like so. Now I like to cover this part up so that nobody really sees it. So I cut myself another piece of the brown DSP, and I cut this at 7/8 thickness and by 4 1/4 long. And if you just add that right on top of what you've done already, it will cover that seam like nothing. Okay, now the other parts to add are the flower. So I mentioned earlier that lovely lily paper from the Celebration promotion. So I used the pink sheet this time, and I stamped with lovely lipstick ink on top of that pink sheet, and I cut out the flower, the smaller one, and then I cut myself some little leaves from that set as well. And these are really easy if you just take double-sided tape and attach them right to the back of what you're doing. So it just looks perfect like so. And then you can add in a little Aloha greeting that I cut with those In the Tropics dies with the lovely lipstick cardstock as well. So the Aloha goes really easily on with that Tombow liquid glue. Again, quick and simple. And then when you're finishing, pop this flower up with a dimensional and add some little epoxy dots. So these ones were from the Frosted and Clear epoxy droplet set. And I just found I used the big one for the center of the flower and the little one just to give an accent here. So you can easily slip this on top of what you're doing now. And your card is ready for you to write on and to pass on to somebody else. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed our project. And if you have any questions or if you missed anything, because I had a guest and got distracted, just give me a shout. You can either send me a message or write a comment. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys are having a wonderful rest of your day and that you enjoy some crafting time. Bye! We have to press finish. Not wanting to finish. Finish. Oh. That's the tape.